Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's November 12th, 2016. Later today, UFC 205 will take place. It's going to be the first UFC in New York City. This comes right after Ari Emanuel, the Zionist Jew, the brother of Rahm Emanuel, has taken over the UFC. For you UFC fans, what you should know is the Zionist Jews have always run the UFC. Dana White was never in control of the UFC. He was only a puppet to make it seem like it was one less thing run by the Jewish Zionists in the entertainment industry. Unless you live under a rock, you should know that the Jewish Zionists, they run this world. They run banking, they run industry, they run media, they run entertainment. They control all of your professional sports leagues, NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever the U.S. soccer league's called, everything else I didn't name, worldwide tennis, boxing, UFC, worldwide Freemasonry and the Zionist Jews run pro sports. They run them by the numbers. If you take the time to watch my videos, I have proven this definitively. And now I'm going to further prove it with what's going on in UFC 205 tonight, the first in New York City, being hosted in Madison Square Garden. What does Madison Square Garden equal in gematria? Well, it sums to 205, just like the UFC fight number. And what does Israel equal? 205. And again, Ari Emanuel, the Zionist Jew, the former member of Irgun, is who has taken over the UFC. His brother is Rahm Israel Emanuel, who was born in history on November 29th, 1959, the 12-year anniversary of the Zionist nation of Israel being recognized by a nation, which was done by the United Nations. So the big fight tonight is Conor McGregor versus Alvarez. Haven't done a UFC video since the last time before McGregor fought. I said why he would win and why I would expect him to win his next two fights after, including tonight and whoever he fights next. I still think that's what's going to happen, but in case I'm wrong, I'm going to show you the narrative for Eddie Alvarez. It's very awesome how he is scripted into this fight, which we're about to get to. Today's date of the fight, November 12th, 2016, Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York. First time UFC's ever been in New York. New York had laws making UFC illegal there. That all just changed just in time for Ari Emanuel. In truth, it's all just part of a script. The Zionist Jews, they run your government, they run your media, they run your entertainment, they do everything as togethers. It's like an ongoing storyline. For those of you who don't understand how these people could script sports, use your head a little bit. Do these people write 1,000,000 movies? Do these people make 1,000,000 TV shows? Isn't it amazing how many movies and TV shows and all this scripting and writing and acting? The same thing's going on in your sports, in your news. These people are writing for days, creating the world as a story around you. Today's date, it has 59 numerology. The name Edward Alvarez in gematria equals 59. That is Eddie Alvarez's birth name. He doesn't seem to have a middle name. His full name is Edward Alvarez equals 59, just like today's date numerology. It's also a date with 32 numerology, the America number, America 32, 7/4/1776, 32 numerology. Alvarez is currently 32 years old. He's coming in with 32 fights. Tonight's going to be his 33rd fight, 33. Often a number coded into one of the fighters for the big fight. Typically, the fighter with the 33 connection goes down. This is Alvarez's 33rd fight. 33 often a number of sacrifice, but not always. McGregor is also trying to become the third UFC fighter to get a win at 3 different weight classes. Tonight, lightweight, which we'll talk more about. Today's date, it's also a date with 39 numerology, which stands out the most about this date numerology. New York equals 39, Empire 39, MSG 39, NY equals 39, Madison Square Garden. The name Madison equals 39. James Madison, who it's named after, made 39 proposals that became the Bill of Rights. He did that on a date with 39 numerology. In New York City, the United Nations there, it's 39 floors tall. 39 is the number of books in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, it's the story of the 10 Commandments. When you write out 10 as a word, it sums to 39. There's a reason Eli Manning wears number 10 in New York City. Every single Super Bowl ever won by a New York team is centered around 39. Also, James Madison, who we just mentioned, tonight's fight in Madison Square Garden, he made 39 proposals that became the Bill of Rights, which are 10, 10, 39, this relationship. James Madison, his vice president was George Clinton, the original governor of New York. George equals 39, and George Clinton was born in 1739. I know all this because I've talked about it in at least 100 videos and written about it countless times. This nation, it's always been run by Jewish bankers, Freemasons. This is how they code. This is how they code history, news, rigged sports. And rigged sports are important to them because they distract the masses. They make money, gambling, ratings, pay-per-view. For Conor McGregor, he has fought 9 times in the UFC. Tonight is going to be McGregor's 10th fight. If he wins, he'll become 9-1 in UFC fights. Only loss was against Nate Diaz the first time he tried to go up against a weight class, then beat him in the rematch. So here's Eddie Alvarez, born in 84, that special year, United States of America 84. We'll be talking about Conor McGregor in 84 tonight. He's 28-4. He's going for his 29th win if he wins. The name Conor has gematria of 29. If he beats Conor McGregor, fitting fight to get the 29th win against, or possibly the 5th loss. 5 as a word, has the same gematria as NYC, New York City. His nickname, Eddie Alvarez, gematria of 58 and 112. This fight's on 11-12. I see that 11-12 sequence in here. 58, number of Freemasonry. Getting the birth name, Edward Alvarez, syncing up with the date. 33rd fight, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33. Could Conor McGregor become the 3rd fighter to win at 3 different weight classes in Eddie Alvarez's 33rd fight? That's what I'm leaning towards. We're going to get to why. I was already leaning towards before this fight was even announced because there's a reason I think Conor McGregor is going to be 22-3. And then I'm not sure what happens from there. I'll have to evaluate. But check this out. Eddie Alvarez, born January 11th, 1984, 111. New York in simple English gematria equals 111, 39 the small way. It's also been 111 weeks today since his last loss. His birth numerology, interesting, 115, 96, number of Freemason and Freemasons, the plural. This fight comes 304 days after his last birthday, 62 days before his upcoming birthday. His last loss was September 27th, 2014. What's interesting is that's the Jesuit order's birthday. Remember we said he was born in 84. Jesuit equals 84. United States of America equals 84. The Jesuits, the Masons, the Zionists, they're all intertwined. From that loss to today's fight is 777 days or 111 weeks, like his January 11th birthday in New York 111. His last loss was to Donald Cerrone. Donald equals 50. He lost to him on a date with 50 numerology, fitting. Here's that loss right here. September 27th, 2014, UFC 178, 27 UFCs ago. Now here's Conor McGregor. This is going to be his 24th fight. He's looking for his 21st win or his 4th loss. On ESPN, I saw Conor McGregor. You might have seen this. He said that New York was the city that Ireland built. He's Irish. We just saw Ireland in Chicago defeat the team from New Zealand who they'd never beaten before. They beat them for the first time in 111 years. We just saw the Irish team win in Chicago, defeating the team from New Zealand for the first time in 111 years. We're talking about 111, New York, Eddie Alvarez. Here's the Irish fighter. He said that New York was the city Ireland built, which isn't exactly true. It was more than just the Irish. But anyhow, Nimrod is the original Freemason from the Bible. He built the Tower of Babel. He was a builder, Freemasons, builders, masonry. Nimrod equals 213 in Jewish gematria, 213. He's trying to become 21-3 in this fight in New York. If he wins, in light of his media quote that New York's the city Ireland built, that's why he's bringing the win. Remember this. This is what the tribute's going to be. Conor McGregor's a Freemason. This is Freemason-related stuff. Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism-related stuff. This numerology, this gematria. His opponent, Eddie Alvarez, his nickname is the Silent Assassin. Got to thank my subscribers. They tipped me off to this one. The Silent Assassin equals 213. Fitting opponent to go 21-3 against. We talked about the 33 thing too. If he gets his 21st win, when you write out 21, it sums to 42, like New York City. Well, not like New York City. That's a typo. NYC, the abbreviation, equals 42. Freemason, 42. Zionism, 42. Very Jewish celebration here in UFC 205, Israel. New York, a Jewish Zionist Mecca. Again, a Zionist Jew. Ari Emanuel running the UFC. Conor McGregor's full name is Conor Anthony McGregor, gematria of 113. Scottish, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, equals 113. Mainstream 113. Dishonest 113. This fight comes right after the election of Donald Trump, whose mother's from Scotland. Scotland, Ireland, neighbors. Conor McGregor, his name in gematria sums to the same thing as mixed martial arts. You know, good name for mixed martial arts. He's currently 28 years old. Israel, the small way, equals 28. In Jewish gematria, 205, like UFC 205. His birth numerology. Also, his date of birth, it can be written 14/7, a lot like the number 147. The phrase master builder equals 147. Again, the comment about Ireland building New York City, that's who he's winning it for. From his birthday to the fight is 121 days, or a span of 122 days. 121, relevant to New York. New York established July 26, 1788. Date with 121 numerology. Of course, date with 39 numerology like we talked about. Big number in New York. This is the coverage they were showing on ESPN. When he said that, Ireland beat New York City. They showed him shooting a basketball in Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks play, the basketball team. From his last win, UFC fight, August 20th, he defeated Nate Diaz that day. From that day to this fight is 84 days. Or 2 months and 23 days. Again, 84, United States of America. Eddie Alvarez, born in 84. 2-2-3 is what I expect his record to improve to. After he wins this fight and whoever he fights next, he'll be 22-3. Very important number to Freemasonry. Conor in Jewish gematria equals 2-2-3. This is why I made that prediction months ago that his record would become 22-3 at some point. So this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the win. If he loses tonight, what I'll be looking for next, just in case, again, for those of you who don't get it, these fights are scripted. They're scripted by the numbers. What I've shown you already should be proof enough. With Eddie Alvarez, the 111 birthday, New York, 111 weeks since his last loss. The thing is, these fights, they're scripted. It's athletic entertainers putting on a show, duping the fans, predetermined outcomes. For all of you who say, what, you think these guys would take a beating in the face? How much money are they getting paid? Yeah, I think they'd take a beating in the face. I think a lot of you would take a beating in the face to get the fame, the recognition, the money that comes with it as well. But anyway, the thing is, they're scripted. It's just like when you go to see a movie or a TV show. Oftentimes, before the movie or the show's over, you already know how it's going to end. You can make a prediction. You'll often be right. Sometimes you didn't read the script right, and the movie, the show, the ending surprises you. Same thing here with decoding rigged and scripted sports. I'm saying sports are theater, and I've proven that point well enough. I've nailed more correct predictions in the last year than you've seen anybody in your life. Plus my predictions, they're way beyond what most people predict. I haven't just predicted who's going to win. I've been predicting what the tributes will be in the game, what the scores will be, who will be the MVP. Go through my video library and see what I've shown. Anyhow, if Conor McGregor becomes the third fighter to win at 3 weight classes, tonight's weight class would be lightweight. Notice how lightweight also connects to Conor. You see? Again, Conor McGregor's 28. Eddie Alvarez, show you one more thing about his record. He's at 28 wins, and he very well will finish tonight's fight still stuck at 28 wins. Again, remember how that number connects to Israel, just like UFC 205. And if you want to do this for the other fights, go to the Gematria calculator. I'll link it in the description. Decode the dates, do the mathematics, decode the names, see what you find. I bet you'll find some major patterns with these same numbers in the other fighters tonight. So just want to give a little preview. Until next time, Truth Seekers.